everyone, I'm Captain Logan.
And I am Jayson.
And we are father
and son.
And Jayson, what are we tackling this time, sir?
We are tackling X-Men Season 2.
Yeah, the second season of the Fox 90s cartoon show. We did the first season not too long ago, and this one is 13 episodes, and I look at it as kind of the defining background season for the majority of our characters.
Yeah.
Nearly everybody gets an episode.
Yeah.
To give us their kind of tragic backstory and tell us what they're all about. And finally, with especially Gambit, with certain characters, can we actually trust them? Are they really on our side? With Gambit, and maybe even Wolverine to some degree.
Yeah.
But for a second, I was thinking even Wolverine gets one, right? Because because we got the Weapon X episode this season.
Yeah.
With Alpha Flight, the kind of conspiracy to sort of conscript him back in Alpha Flight. Yeah, so full disclosure, I watched this season more casually. I was like making lunch for the kids and stuff with this in the background quite a bit, so I'm going to let Jayson really run point on this, and I'll go from as much of this as I was able to watch and from memory as much as possible. But Jayson, why don't we go ahead and just jump straight into it? So, like I said, most everybody gets background episodes. Is there anybody that doesn't?
I think Jean Grey and Cyclops
are
the only ones who... Because Rogue gets one, and Storm gets one. She doesn't really get a backstory, but we see her family.
Yeah, we kind of know where she comes from. Even
Gambit...
Colossus gets one, kind of. And he's not even a man. My family!
My family! We will definitely talk about that later.
Okay.
And... Yeah, Gambit gets one, Wolverine gets one. I think.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Well, that's most of the team at this point. I mean, obviously Beast doesn't, but Beast is...
Beast gets a character. Beast gets a story.
Oh, that's true. He does get an episode, doesn't he? Yeah. It's just not as much about his past and stuff.
Yeah.
No, that's a good point. With his girlfriend, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
His blind girlfriend.
I actually kind of forgot it. Like The Thing.
Yeah.
With what's her face. But anyway, so it's interesting that you mentioned that Jean Grey and Cyclops don't get that because they're, at least at this point, a lot less of like tragic characters than a lot of the characters on the X-Men team. I won't say everybody is a tragic character. It's not like Lost, but like a lot of them are, and a lot of them are again like somewhat more ambiguous and like a little bit dicey, and like which way are they ultimately going to fall, and like how much are they ultimately going to really believe in Xavier's vision and all of that. And Jean Grey, and I imagine you probably know something about this, but I don't want to give too much away. Jean's tragedy is going to happen in the future.
Yeah.
Of course.
For some reason, last season she talks about her dark past, though.
Well, that's true. I forgot about that.
So,
I don't know if we ever see that.
Her dark past.
Or does it have something to do with, I'm trying to remember. It's on the tip of my tongue. There is a, like, secret society that I think she may have been part of, or she's later on mind controlled to be in. It's been a while since I watched this show. I don't remember if she's. There might be something with her in the Hellfire Club, but I'm not sure. Maybe that's what she's talking about. I don't remember. I'm sure somebody in the comments will tell us.
Yeah.
Because I'm forgetting now. But yeah.
But anyway, should we get into what should we do first?
Should
we do episodes?
Let's get into episodes. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Got 13 and at least a couple of two-parters.
So my least favorite episode is toward the end. It's called Mojo Vision.
Oh, I love Mojo Vision.
So, okay, the reason I don't like this episode is because it's kind of annoying.
Well,
and
sure.
It's
Oh, you don't like Mojo Vision?
Yeah, it was the only episode that I could think of for like a least favorite episode.
Sure.
Too, but still, I don't know.
So you think overall the season's pretty solid?
Yeah, it's better than the first season.
I think I agree with that overall.
Yeah.
And better with, we'll talk about this, but better with its overarching stories as well, and kind of continuing a lot, of the overarching stuff from first season. Like, it's got a really good sense of that superhero melodrama and that kind of, teen soap opera thing. Or not really teen soap opera thing, but, the superhero soap opera for teens to read, I should say.
Yeah.
Because most of these characters are pretty grown up.
So I have top 5 favorite episodes.
Wow, that many, huh?
Yeah. Out of the 30.
Do you want to count them down from 5 to 1, or in no particular order?
I guess I'll just count them down from 5 to 1.
Okay, sure.
So my number 5 is Whatever It Takes.
Oh, I think his girlfriend's name is Alicia. It's taking me this long to remember that. That's her name. Anyway, I'm sorry, go ahead.
So my number 5 is Whatever It Takes.
Which one is that?
I think, this is the one this is the Storm episode, with that monster.
I don't love that one. I mean, it's fine.
I feel
with the Shadow King?
Yeah. I kind of like that episode. I mean, it's not like my number 3 or anything, but...
It doesn't inform Storm all that much. It doesn't really tell us a lot of new stuff about her.
Yeah.
So much as just gives us the atmosphere of, like, going to Africa and seeing, like, where she grew up and stuff.
Yeah.
And maybe where her, discipline and kind of, serious nature comes from.
Yeah.
Because she's a really stoic kind of character. That's one of those where some of the really stereotypical, over-the-top voiceovers kind of get in the way for me.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's almost a companion piece to that first season episode with Wolverine and the Native Americans. But I think that episode's actually a little bit better.
Yeah, that was, like, my favorite episode.
Oh, yeah, I forgot you really like that one.
But yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's kind of top 5 material.
Do you?
Yeah. I really liked it.
I mean, what'd you like about it?
I like the plot where, like, there's this guy that takes over people's minds and stuff, and it's kind of cool. And we get to see, like, Storm's family and... My family!
Her family!
My family!
That's not on your top 5, is it?
No. It's not on my top 5.
We'll talk about that. You know who you didn't get at all this season?
Who?
You didn't get your favorite guy.
Yeah, we didn't get Juggernaut.
You got no Juggernaut.
Got no Juggernaut.
I don't think.
Yeah, no Juggernaut.
Yeah.
And then my 4th favorite episode is, Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah.
That is the Beast episode, where he has a girlfriend, and she's blind, and he's making, like, a medicine for her to become not blind, and her dad doesn't like him because he's a mutant.
Yeah.
And then at the end he likes him because
he saves her?
He saves her, and yeah.
Yeah, I liked dealing with the bigotry and intolerance thing on a more personal level like that, because it's been a lot more broader and vaguer before this, and we still get a lot of the anti-mutant picket scenes. There's like so much of that in the show. Humans yes, mutants no kind of thing. I love that bit where it's like, blow up that mutant center. So you've always got a lot of that in the background, but here we make it personal, and we have a specific character. You see kind of where it comes from, where he just doesn't trust mutants because of all the rhetoric he's heard, and she's dating a guy who looks like a monster, and he's being very superficial about it, and then he gets reasonable by the end. And it's maybe a little bit of an easy light switch, but by the end where he's like, well, I like you completely now because you saved my daughter, but like overall I like it. I think it's really good, and I like that kind of contrast where she has a physical impairment that he's trying to cure of, and there's and I'm not saying that being a mutant is necessarily a physical impairment, but it's like he looks at that as like something bad and unfortunate that Beast was born with, but he can't look at it for whatever reason in the same way that he looks at his daughter, where it's like, well, he doesn't hate her just because she's different, because she's blind, but he hates Beast because he's a mutant and he looks different. And so there's a clear double standard there.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good stuff. By the way, there's at least one or two major comic writers this season, and I didn't see the writing credits for everything, but like Lin Wein writes an episode. So they're going to some of the big old guard for Marvel and DC writers. Anyway, what's your number 3?
My number 3 is Repo Man. That's the Wolverine backstory episode.
Yeah. With Alpha Flight.
Alpha Flight.
Mm-hmm. Nobody's favorite X-Men team, Alpha Flight.
Except everyone buys it.
No, they don't.
But anyway, I don't really remember a lot about this episode, but I remember most of it. I remember that, like, Alpha Flight, like, doesn't want him, or, like, wants him to be part of his team or something.
Yeah, they're basically trying to the main Alpha Flight guy is trying to force, I forget his name right off. He's the guy with the big Canadian flag, I think, with the white suit. He's trying to force Wolverine to basically be Weapon X for them.
Yeah.
And a lot of the team is going along with it, and it's really kind of sad because they were his friends, but they blame him for leaving the team, and so they kind of try to justify it because they don't think he treated them right, which I don't totally get, because like it doesn't seem like he really did them a disservice by leaving. Like what has it really done to them that he's not there? You know what I mean? Like, is the team not been functioning with him gone? Like, why really was it a problem that he just went on to live his own life? Like, I don't know why they hate him that much for that. But anyway, yeah, the present day stuff in that I didn't really care for, but the Weapon X flashbacks are really good, because they look just like Windsor Smith's art in Weapon X, so I think it's Windsor Smith.
But yeah, I like that like Wolverine finally gets a backstory, and I actually like him a lot more now that I know what happened. Like, because
So were you not familiar with Weapon X?
No. I mean, I hadn't seen the X-Men movies in a long time,
and they don't give us that in the same way. I mean,
yeah.
X2 more or less has Weapon X, it sort of as it was in the comics in the background, but we don't fully know what happened. And then once we get to Origins, they muck it up, and it's really bad.
Oh.
Did I ever show you Origins?
No, because
well,
you said it was awful.
I find it really hard to sit through that movie. So yeah. I mean, if you ever want to watch it, you can, but. Do you want to see
Did you
really?
just call me Blob?
Did you just call me Blob? If you want to see, yeah. So I've showed you crappy clips from that movie. If you want to see really badly CGI'd Wolverine claws, then watch that movie.
CGI?
Yeah, they're hardly ever physical claws. There's a scene where he's in a bathroom, and it's supposed to be funny, where they have this kind of slapstick scene where he, like, accidentally rips up the sink and stuff in the bathroom, and it's the claws are CG in the close-up shots. And they look really rubbery and, almost like they're made out of, I don't know, like Jell-O or something. It's really bad.
Oh.
That's not even the worst thing about that movie. but it's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, Stryker is awful in that.
Stryker!
And of course, Stryker's my favorite villain, one of my favorite characters in those movies, so it was really sad they did that. But anyway, let's get back to this show. What's your number 2?
My number 2 is Time Fugitives.
Of course. No, I knew that would be on your list. I figured that would top it, probably.
No, this is my number 2. This brings back Bishop, it brings back Cable, and,
It's a straight-up sequel to Days of Future Past.
Yeah. And what I really like is basically they could have done that in one part. but they did it in 2 parts because they basically did the story and then they did it again, but from Cable's perspective. And I really like that.
Yeah, but it isn't like you're just seeing the same events that happen again from Cable's perspective. He goes back and changes time again. So you have you have like events and then they're changed.
Yeah, but you still have like most of the things that happen in that first part.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, that happens again.
But I'm just saying it's not the same thing as you're looking at the exact same events, just this time from somebody else's perspective. Cable literally goes back in time and tries to change what happened the first time.
Yeah.
Because, you want to give us a quick breakdown of that episode?
Yeah, so basically, there's this virus, and, it's made in a lab by this guy, who's, like, this big hating mutant guy.
Creed.
Yeah, Creed. And then he
the leader of the Friends of Humanity.
and then...
Or the FOH, the Friends of Humanity.
And then he makes this virus and he blames the mutants for having it.
Which is weird, right? Because if it's weird to call yourselves the Friends of Humanity when you are humans. It's like, couldn't the mutants also be friends of humanity?
Yeah.
Weird phrasing when you're saying you're superior to mutants and you wish they weren't around. I don't know. Anyway, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So,
they should have called themselves human friends.
Also, the thing that I don't get about this is he says that mutants, like, have the virus, but when he sticks the thing in, you, like, die. So how would they carry the virus if they're not dead and they don't have, like, things all over their body?
Yeah,
like...
let's talk about that because it's weird. Okay, so it's supposed to be like a digital virus from the future. Is it right? Isn't it from the future? Or did he develop it in the first place?
I think he developed it in the first place.
Okay, that's weird. So yeah, it's this strange like digital thing where it creates what looks like code all over your body. And yeah, does it kill you right away? Is that what's supposed to happen?
It kills you in like a few seconds.
Okay, so the idea is he's trying to make everybody think that mutants are the carriers. So carrying a virus doesn't necessarily mean that you're infected yourself with it. There are animals that are carriers of diseases that are not actually currently affecting them, but they can pass it on to other things. That's even something that happens with the virus that we're currently dealing with, Jason. Is there are people who carry the virus but never show symptoms, and then can actually pass it on to other people, and so. It seems at first. I'm glad you brought that up because it was a big issue I had. It was one of those sillier things of the season I wanted to talk about, where he's trying to make people think that mutants are the carriers of the virus, and that's a validation for wiping them out. Where it's like, see, like not only are they inferior, but they're going to destroy us all with like this horrible pandemic. Mm-hmm. And then he decides it would be a good idea to let a mutant get infected in the middle of like a press conference, or like a big public meeting, to show everybody that they have the disease. He's like, see, look, I can't remember if it was Hank or who it was.
No, Hank like tries to fight him. And then he infects himself.
No, I know, and he's gonna get it, and I get that because then he goes, oh, see, like they have the virus, but I think originally his plan is to infect mutants and then let, am I right about this? And then make everybody think that they have it. It's like, okay, but if they're the carriers and it kills you quickly, then are you really gonna be able to make people believe that they didn't just now get infected and that they've been the carriers all along when one of them suddenly gets it and then is infected and then dies on camera? Like, it doesn't really make any sense, right?
Yeah.
You'd think that what would have made a lot more sense would be for his plan to be what accidentally happens, which is you inject a human and then let them die and have them in close proximity to a mutant, and then go, see, look, the mutants are the carriers. He just got one, or he just got the virus, and he's dying right now. Which is like what ends up happening, and it's a lot more effective. But of course, he's not going to intentionally infect himself. Yeah. But he's so mortally bereft. I could see him like doing it to another human being, or trying to get a volunteer, trying to basically get like a biological suicide bomber in effect.
Yeah.
That whole thing was weird to me.
Yeah. And also, and also he's, isn't he like the son of Sabretooth or something?
Yeah, and you know what's weird? I had forgotten that and didn't remember it until they revealed it, and then I felt like an idiot because his name is Creed the whole time. And I just kind of forgotten that. I was like, oh yeah, that's right, his name is Creed, and Sabretooth is Victor Creed. Yeah, and so I guess that's just supposed to be like because we don't do a whole lot with the fact that he's the son of Sabretooth. I guess the point of that is just supposed to be that he's a hypocrite, where it's like, well, your dad was a mutant, and you would have thought that he might reveal he's got powers or something.
Yeah. Because
usually, if I can't think of really another instance in this show or much else X-Men where I mean, I guess it could happen, but I just don't remember a lot of examples of it, where a mutant has a human child that doesn't have the mutant gene, that doesn't develop powers.
Yeah.
Like, even if they have a mutant, like one parent's a mutant, and the other parent is a human, although in the movies they say that the mutant gene only comes from the father.
Oh.
But if that were the case with this, and we're never told that, but I mean, if that were the case with this, then yeah, Sabretooth would have been the father, so he would have been a mutant.
Yeah. So
I don't know. It's there's a lot about that next too, with Pyro. They say that the males are the carriers of the mutant gene, so it's your fault. They have that whole thing. Yeah. But anyway, and then Apocalypse is wrapped up in all of that because he wants to use it as his beautiful, beautiful virus. And he's still just trying to destroy everything. he just wants humans and mutants to be destroyed because he thinks he's superior to all of them. We don't do any, like new character dimension for Apocalypse. He continues to be kind of the same mustache twirling bad guy.
Yeah. Also, I like how they bring back Morph, and he's this bad guy now, and he's a crazy person. And he's like, and it's hilarious. I mean, he was doing that from the start, but now he's doing it more than ever.
Yeah, it makes you feel kind of dumb if you didn't predict this, because he seems to have died in the pilot, and immediately I find myself really impressed with a kid's show for killing off character in the first episode. And then, of course, he's not dead. He comes back later. But, yeah, he's laughing like a jackal in that first episode. And you really ought to expect, okay, he's going to come back and he's going to be like a cackling, like Green Goblin-esque bad guy.
And he does.
And he totally is, yeah. And he has this whole Jekyll Hyde thing where he's almost got, like, multiple personalities. He's got, like, identity, he's got dissociative identity disorder, basically, because of Mr. Sinister, who has brought him back to infiltrate the X-Men, and there's like a part of him that still cares about the X-Men, and I think all around, like, both sides of him still, if not blame Cyclops and Wolverine for, like, leaving him to die, like he says, they left me to die. He's just heartbroken about it. He's like, why would they do that? They're my friends. And there's never a great explanation for it, right? Like, they play it in the pilot like we just don't have time to go back for him. But then later on, we also play it like Cyclops, learned a lesson from it. Because remember the end of first season? It's like, we leave no one behind! This time! We talked about that in our first video. And so I don't know. I don't think you can have both. Like, which is it? Like, was it necessary? Was there nothing they could do, or was it like a lesson Cyclops had to learn as a leader, like not to leave people behind? I don't know. But anyway, so there's this like other version of Morph that when it takes over, it's really sadistic and wants revenge, and is basically just controlled by Mr. Sinister. Mm-hmm. What I didn't remember was that he's there through the whole season. Like, he's not in every episode or anything. We kind of bookend with it. I like the structure of this season a lot. It's basically like the Sinister story bookending the whole season with a whole lot of like other adventures in the middle.
Apocalypse and backstories. Basically.
Yeah. Apocalypse with the follow-up to Days of Future Past, and then and then a lot of like character-centered in mostly backstory episodes. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so you have Sinister with his plot to do genetic engineering based on Jean Grey and Cyclops, and I don't think we ever fully, totally understand what his plan is, or if we do, I've forgotten.
Yeah. Yeah,
but he's trying to get his hands on them.
Yeah, for some reason. I don't really remember.
And that's all connected to the Genosha plot from the first season too. He's got the collars, and he's related all of that. So I mean, like a really good, like tight, like kind of tightly woven narrative for a like early '90s cartoon show. Which is one of the big things I always remember about this. And Spider-Man tried that too, but I don't think it was as effective at it. This show is much better at being like one big cohesive narrative. It also doesn't resort to flashbacks quite as often. It will occasionally, to pad out time, for the sake of exposition, like show us scenes from episodes we've seen already. But Spider-Man did it constantly, and the nice thing is there's not anybody narrating them constantly like there was in the Spider-Man, which is nice. We might go through that show at some point. If you want to.
So do you want to know what my number one is?
I'm trying to think, because you named, I think, a lot of my favorites, and I do actually like Mojo Vision, by the way. That real quick, that show is basically like reality TV shows where Mojo grabs up a lot of the X-Men and he throws them in like crazy like TV pilot situations. And there's this weird one where the Punisher is there for no good reason.
Yeah.
That was really weird. And you got to see who's the girl with like the 6 arms that's in the Capcom fighter. Spiral.
Yeah.
Yeah, you remember that?
Yeah.
So you finally got to see where she's from.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I get why you found him annoying, and of course he is annoying. He's got that really really crazy out there voice, and there's that bit where he goes what. Like, it's nuts, but I don't know. I thought it was kind of a fun departure, and it kind of fun to get to some of the space cosmic stuff in more of a comedic setting. I like a lot of the animation in that episode. It feels like a fun kind of special event thing.
Yeah.
It's a real typical kind of like Lian Ditko or I should say Lian Kirby esque kind of space story where it's like here's some nut job from out in the cosmos who picks us up and makes us fight. Like, what does that look like? And it's one of those. It feels like classic Marvel. I think there's a lot of way I like it. But what's your number one?
My number one is, and this will sound crazy because of last time.
It's not my family.
It's A Rogue's Tale.
No, that episode's awesome.
That episode is awesome.
I'm sorry, I momentarily forgot about that. That is also my favorite episode of the season. And you and I talked about this the other day, and I told you that was my favorite. But while we were talking, I forgot about it because I like that Days of Future Past follow-up so much.
Yeah.
But yeah, break that down.
So there's a lot going on. So
they get so much done in 20 minutes.
Yeah. So Rogue has this girl in her head, and she doesn't like her, and she's like, "Leave me alone!" And she
screams a lot.
Yeah, that's probably like my second funniest thing is
I imagine,
leave me alone.
I imagine that actress has got hot tea with her every time she's doing that voice.
But anyway, so she doesn't like this girl in her head. And then,
Who's the girl in her head? Who does it turn out to be?
so she sees...
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
So she sees, like, visions, and she, like... I think she, like, goes to sleep or something. I don't remember what happened to actually go to her backstory.
Yeah.
But basically, Mystique is her mother.
Well, we do just flash back to it at some point and start giving you the revelations. But
so, Mystique is her mother, and she steals powers from Miss Marvel, who is the girl in her head.
Yeah.
And
it's Carol Danvers.
Yeah. And that's how she has the flying ability and the strength ability.
Yeah.
Because she has it. I don't remember how she got it for like a long time.
She just held on too long.
Oh.
When she grabbed Carol Danvers. So it put Carol into a coma. And she's been in the hospital this entire time. Mm-hmm. And her part of her psyche, or maybe all of it, came over into Rogue as well. And so it's basically like a botched mind meld, to put it in Star Trek terms. And so she has her powers, and she permanently has her powers. It's kind of a question that if you watching from the beginning, you might have where you're like, well, how was she born with so many different powers? Like, why does she have the ability? And I know some mutants have like a couple powers, but that was overkill. That was a lot. Where it's like you can, she can like steal people's life force and steal their powers, but she also has flight and super strength. And then it turns out it's because she got them from Carol Danvers, which is such a cool idea.
Yeah.
But she's also got Carol in her head, kind of haunting her.
Yeah. I mean, Wolverine has like 3 powers too.
He's got 2 unless you count the revisionist history with the bone claws.
Okay. Yeah. Because
I never liked that.
Like what?
The bone claw thing. I've never liked the claws being a power.
Yeah.
I've always preferred that being just something that Weapon X put in him. So, like, traditionally, and we've had that a really long time, of course, but, like, traditionally, and at this point, like, he even says in this season, these claws, because there's a part where he doesn't have his powers. I think it's when they're in the Savage Land, and he goes, oh, well, these aren't part of my mutant powers, and so he's able to use his claws. It should hurt a lot when he pops them out, but whatever. That's the thing we deal with in the movies that we don't really deal with.
Oh, really?
In the show, yeah. That's a line from X-Men 1 when Rogue asks him if they hurt. It's in their first big exchange, and he says every time. It's a really great moment. And was the screen test for those actors together, by the way. But anyway, I digress. So no, traditionally his powers are healing factor and animal instincts.
Yeah, because he can smell things.
Yeah.
But anyway,
what else happens in that episode? Or do you want to talk about any more of that?
That's basically just what happens.
Well, Carol wakes up at the end.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, it is kind of a happy ending.
Yeah. She wakes up at the end, and...
I don't know if she ever comes back. I don't think she does.
I don't know, because...
I forget.
I mean, not in this season, but...
But I'm just saying in the series. I don't think she ever comes back. I just don't remember. But we do deal some more, I think, with Mystique and their family tie. Especially when we bring in Nightcrawler. I'm pretty sure we deal with that with Nightcrawler. But anyway.
Yay. Nightcrawler's in the show.
But he's only in like 1 episode, I think.
What?
Yeah, it's
I
unfortunate.
I like Nightcrawler.
I do too. Dan Torrey loves Nightcrawler.
Oh, really?
Okay, what else do you want to talk about?
Favorite characters?
Yeah.
So,
Has anybody changed around?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, still Wolverine.
Oh, of course.
And I actually like him even better. He's awesome. And then Rogue is now like my favorite character.
She's gone from the bottom rung like all the way up.
Like all the way up because of that episode. And
she's so good in that.
Yeah. And it's not just the screamy thing. That's probably why I didn't like her in the first season.
No, I think she's super endearing in that.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's really sad, like what she did to Carol Danvers, and then it's a good kind of road to redemption story.
Mm-hmm.
Are you still in the Gambit?
Yeah. He's probably He's not one of my favorite characters anymore.
Well, he falls into the background some this season.
Yeah, he's kind of not like. I feel like he's kind of like the Jean Grey character.
The problem with Gambit for me is, and I don't know if they do any cool stuff with him after this, I don't remember, but at this point in the series, once they kind of come out and reveal what his motivations are, and that he really is, more on the side of the angels, and that he's been trying to get out of the Thieves Guild and all of that, there's not any mystery to him anymore, and that was a lot of what was fun about that character. So like once you reveal everything with the Thieves Guild and the Assassins Guild,
he is the assassin.
And he's just like the Thieves Guild with.
And he's like, no, I'm not.
Yeah, with the Cajuns, you know where you stand with him, and I mean, like, he's still that kind of roguish character, of course, but but like, he doesn't just go with the wind where the wind blows like we thought he did. Like, he does have standards, he does have lines he won't cross, and
he's
we kind of
roguish character.
Right. No, I know what I said. And after that, I just feel like they don't have they don't think of a lot of cool stuff to do with him.
I like the first episode of the season, too. It's not like top 5, but where Morph makes everyone like try to hate each other.
Yeah.
And I like that because.
Oh yeah, you remember when Rogue gets like really mad at Beast in the danger room?
Oh yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to remember what exactly it is. It's like he didn't tell her where Xavier or somebody was and should have. I can't remember what it was. But it turns out that of course it wasn't him. It was Morph.
Yeah.
Morph!
And she gets really mad at Gambit too, because he kisses her.
Oh yeah, that whole thing.
That whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, in his defense, like, he thought she invited him to.
Yeah.
So he's not in the wrong there. But everybody for a minute is like, whoa, he's going too far. Like, he's really taking advantage of her. She's taking a nap, and he goes and kisses her. But he thought that because Morph was pretending to be her, that he was invited. So yeah, he was not actually taking advantage of her, or from his perspective anyway.
And then funniest thing.
Yeah.
So, it's kind of, it's either, leave me alone, or
my family.
My family.
Colossus in that episode. Okay, so we have the whole Omega Red thing. Is it Omega Red?
Yes.
And we had Colossus the first season. Surprisingly, he never says that line in that episode. And then in this episode, he says "my family" like 119 times.
Oh.
And it wouldn't be.
I have to get back to my family.
My family. And it wouldn't be so funny. Yeah, like, it's not just the repetition of it. It's that, like, insanely cartoonish accent.
I have to save my family.
He just keeps, well, now he sounds like he's from Alabama. He just says it over and over again. No, it's hilarious. I've been making fun of that for years and years. And I like how when we were watching it, I didn't say anything. You didn't seem to notice it the first 5 times, and then on time 6, you're just like, When is he gonna stop saying then? What else you want to talk about?
So, good things and bad things?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I like how this season goes more into backstories.
Right.
And we talked about that a lot
sure.
earlier. But yeah.
With oddly kind of everybody but like we talked about, for the most part, Cyclops and Jean Grey, and they're kind of like the plot crux for the main bad guy plot. But we don't really do anything with their characters. Oh, they also get married at the beginning of the season. We didn't talk about that.
Oh, yeah.
I gotta stop a wedding. I don't really have anything to say about that. It's just they get married, and of course, Wolverine's really hurt about it, and he doesn't go to the wedding, and he just fights in the danger room. It's a really cool danger room sequence, and that's one of the more famous scenes in this show. Is that whole danger room sequence?
Mm-hmm.
All that relationship drama stuff has never worked for me, but luckily we don't spend a whole lot of time on it. Like, just like the movies, I don't know why he likes Jean Grey that much, except that she's hot. Like, I don't get that. Oh, the thing we talked about, I'm gonna check in on certain points, and this is one of the more superficial ones, but from first season, that the weird, like, flesh color thing that's going on with her outfit, it's even worse this season.
Really?
There's a couple places where it's colored differently, where it seems like now it really is just a suit, but there's other places where those lines that made it clear that it is just a costume are gone, and it does look like she just isn't wearing anything on the sides. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, there's a few places like that where I was like, wait a minute, is it... Because remember I pointed that out to you, where
I
was like, isn't it flesh now? And then she'll turn and suddenly the lines are there, and I'm like, okay, well now it's not.
But she has like the pockets, and I'm just like, what do you mean?
I'm telling you, there's a place where the pockets aren't there, and it's like somebody that was animating did not get the memo because it doesn't look like a costume, like with the coloring. And so they just didn't put all the pockets and stuff in. Anyway, that's still really weird to me. Oh, and you've also got Xavier and Magneto constantly, all through the whole season, in the Savage Land. We just, like, keep checking back in with them, and they just go, like, fight something.
We'll talk about that.
Like Sauron!
With, yeah. My other
is that your bad stuff? Yeah. Okay, we'll talk about it then. I'm sorry. So I got ahead of you. Go ahead.
So one of my
I didn't want to forget about it because that's one of the main threads in the season. Go ahead.
My other good thing is Rogue has gotten better, and that episode
they won you over on her. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's get into bad things.
Yeah, sure.
We think we've resolved, like, at the end of the season, the president is like, mutants are like, as human as we are, or something, and then...
Yeah.
And then nothing changes.
Sure, like, but I think that's supposed to be the point, is that just because he's changed his mind about that doesn't mean everybody else has. It's not like we regress the president. I mean, Kelly is still advocating for mutant rights through this whole season, and people start going after him. So I mean, like, it's not like we've hit the reset button on that because we don't know how to keep telling stories about inequality and stuff. But it's that kind of like Batman escalation thing where it's like, well, if the people that really matter are going to push back that hard on this, then the bad people are going to really double down, and that's what happens this season. Personally, I think all that plays really well. And I'm glad that there's not too much retread. I mean, we do Apocalypse again, but it's not too connected to all that. I mean, it is connected kind of indirectly with the Friends of Humanity thing, but like he's just using them. But it's not like we bring back a bunch of Sentinels and stuff. You know, we're not just like replaying the same old song and dance.
Yeah. And then the last thing to talk about is the
Savage Land?
The Savage Land plot with, or the story with, Xavier and Magneto. And Magneto, like, sure, like, they're friends, but stop saying Charles!
Yeah, Yeah.
I know how to stop it, Charles.
Yeah, the way he pronounces that is kind of odd. We're kind of just in a holding pattern through most of the season with them in the Savage Land. You keep checking back with them. They're just trying to survive.
Yeah.
They fight Sauron. They're the big, like winged kind of, a bird dinosaur looking thing. And I always remember Fin Fang Foom being there, but he's not. And then
I thought he was at the beginning.
he's not. I looked it up. Yeah, I think it's just Sauron. And then there's some other. I forget who, but there's some other characters that are in the comics in Savage Land that are there. We get Khazar toward the end, so it's kind of the who's who of that area. We get some fun dinosaur stuff, and then when you get to the end of it, you've got this whole idea that Magneto like created a bunch of creatures and that he used to be in the Savage Land, and so his past is kind of coming back to haunt him with those. And then when you get to the end, to the very end of the season, in that last episode, everything kind of culminates in the Savage Land, and the X-Men finally go there, and we have a big battle in the Savage Land, which is kind of fun.
Mm-hmm.
But it's nice to finally get out of there.
Yeah.
Because I got so tired of that.
Yeah.
Of that whole thing. Because we're not really moving any story along.
It's so boring.
It's kind of boring, yeah.
It's kind of boring.
I forget who... Oh, you know what? I know what it is. It's nice that this is all interconnected like it is. Like I said, it's pretty tightly woven. It doesn't feel like it halfway through the season. And then eventually you're like, oh, this is all adding up. This is all actually interconnected. Because the stuff that's going on with the Savage Land, like the reason that Xavier and Magneto get stuck there is because of Sinister.
Yeah.
And he's actually operating out of there. I forgot about that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty cool. Well, are you excited for more of the show?
Yep.
Cool. I don't remember a whole lot of what exactly is in the third season, so it will be fun to get into that.
Oh, cool.
And be surprised again, because that's where we get into stuff that I've not seen as much. I'm pretty sure that's where the Nightcrawler episode is, and I'm pretty sure that's where Dark Phoenix is, but that's all I remember. Almost positive that's where Dark Phoenix is. So, look forward to that. Do you know anything about that?
No.
No?
I mean, I know that Dark Phoenix is a thing, but I don't remember a lot about it.
But, like, do you know what Dark Phoenix is?
Do
you know who it is?
No.
You don't know any of that?
No.
Okay, cool. Sweet. Well, I'm glad I didn't say any more than I did earlier.
It's been a while since I've seen the movies.
It's been a while.
It's been a while.
Anyway, well, thanks a lot for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you again for the third season in the not-too-distant future, and lots more fun season overviews, movie reviews, and discussions here on Father and Son. I'm Captain Logan.
And I was Jayson.
And again, we are Father.
We was Son.
What? All right, stick to the script, kid. Okay, we'll see you later, folks. Bye.